Greetings. In this video, I'm going to be getting into some extreme discussions about a lot of the issues this attraction has, pretty much discussing every single possible thing that I can bring to you. So prepare yourselves, because this is going to be a long video, unfortunately. Or fortunately, because I had to make this video because no other person would, because not that many people are crazy about this ride as much as I am. So pretty much you will get everything you need with every single possible issue. Everything. So before the video does begin, I want to state that few of pretty much the images and videos, such as the image you're looking at now, some of the videos and images do not belong to me. I'm using them not just as a reference, but pretty much to what has an issue. I'm not taking credit due to the images, but I'm just using them so you guys can see the issues. And most images are actually from videos, because of course there's no actual pictures of a lot of the stuff that is an issue. And there's going to be comparisons, so I can show you what is out of sync or what isn't working properly, or just pretty much this will be image based. It doesn't have to be really based off any videos, but of course in the comment section I'll actually have timestamps to certain sections in this video if you guys really do wish to go back into the video and actually look at these issues. If you guys want to analyze more and understand what the issue is, because I know for a fact that we all know that this ride goes 24/7, and obviously something's going to break, and obviously the attraction is going to be going into issues. Of course, technology is a very annoying thing to work with, but prepare yourselves, because this is going to be extremely exciting. Probably not, because it may seem boring. So let us begin and not waste too much time. Okay, so I wanted to bring up this effect that's been in the attraction for a good period of time, and that, my friends, would be the mirror, or the mirrors. For those who didn't know, this was originally, and still practically is, but it doesn't work. It only works whenever vehicles are actually be coming out of the back room to come out and replace another vehicle that is having issues. But pretty much the point of the mirrors is that the original idea and story pretty much of them is that pretty much they created these mirrors specifically so whenever the people or the riders at point A, which is the station, can view the Chamber of Destiny safely, rather than looking into the eyes of the idol. So pretty much we will be looking at the back rear of the vehicle of the other riders ahead of us that is at point B. Of course, because I'm pretty bad at explaining, how about you guys give yourself a listen and of course watch the original footage from 1985 that someone recorded, which shows the original falling rock effect, but we're not going to be talking about that throughout this video. But of course, here, watch it and give it a listen. It's pretty interesting. I do, however, I do love the new version, but the original footage in the warning chamber, the film room, there was a lot more information that was given out, such as this part and the other parts as well that's shown throughout the film. So there's a lot of things that were kind of cut short, so people can actually go through the attraction in peace and actually write it and all, because rather than waiting for every line. But here's the video. So let's go into the Chamber of Destiny, which are the 3 doors. So when I went in March, from the 28th to the 30th, the projection is actually out of focus. The stereo audio quality, I think it's only mono now. I only hear the audio from the roof, where you hear Mars saying his awesome phrases on what door you're going to go through, or earthly riches, or future, or fountain of youth. So yeah, the audio is loud when you get closer to the door, but when you're far away, it's not loud. So yeah, the volume is a little bit of an issue in this chamber, but it does sound fantastic, so everything's pretty good here. Just the projector, just the projectors are out of focus. So, away from that, yeah, there was a glitch that happened once, I think a few times back in like 2016, as you guys can see here in this video. It was kind of a weird glitch because it didn't have any audio sound effects. It didn't have sound effects. It had the audio of Mara speaking and everything, and it had the music, but it didn't have any sound effects. Just that. No projector animation on the doors. Nothing. It was just all orange. Pretty weird. This is how the audio sounded.
This path leads to timeless youth and beauty.
And what the orange lighting actually is the original lighting for the 3 doors when the projections did not exist on the doors, obviously. So this would have been shined upon the double metal doors with the snakes on it. So that's what the lighting actually is. But it has vines, which is something entirely different and was never used. It was just orange lighting. But yeah, this glitch no longer happens. I think you guys have fully fixed this issue. So nice on that. So let's get into the Hall of Promise. So yeah, this is where an annoyance kind of unfolds. The volume of the sound effects are very quiet. They're not loud as they used to be when you guys first introduced this effect for the first time back in 2013. Yeah, the volume needs to get fixed. I understand that there are riders or guests who come onto this attraction and have very sensitive hearing, so I understand the volume being lowered. But I should mention that when you get halfway through and when you get closer to the idol, the sound effects, like when the gold is melting off the idol, it's not loud. You don't hear the hissing sound and everything. Nope. When Mara's face cracks in the Fountain of Youth with all the blood and all that, and you can hear this weird gasping sound. Pretty creepy. It's quiet. Yeah, pretty interestingly enough, you guys actually kept the original soundtrack that would play in that part, but it's very quiet. I cannot play it here, unfortunately, because I don't want to get a copyright strike or just get this video blocked. So we're just going to try to keep everything on a good low level. And not just that, but the projector on Mara's face is very dark right now. It's very dark. So you can hardly see the proper animation. You can hardly see her pupils or eyes. So it's pretty dark. The projector animation is also out of sync, and here is a comparison with the audio. Technically, the projection being out of sync, like 2 seconds, like it goes on way late. I mean, way late. After you enter, that's when the 2-second delay happens. Pretty bad. So, as I timed it, I actually decided to go and time it, but of course I didn't even, you don't have a pause or anything in the audio recording here. But I actually timed it, yes, it is delayed by 2 seconds. So that's how delayed it is. So, yeah, so away from the audio being too quiet, this is one of the most annoying issues with this. It's just the projector getting turned on way too late. So that could be easily fixed, and I hope you guys can fix it. Just here, take a look at the comparison. So yeah, as you guys saw, you saw the one with the quiet audio and delayed animation, and then you saw the one with the audio that was from a recording with the brand new with the new voice of Mara, which is not Neil Patrick Harris, but James Earl Jones. So pretty awesome, of course, with the pitched voice. So yes. Also, the headlights of the Jeep, when we actually turned to see the brand new Chamber of Destiny doors, the headlights are not turning off like they were when you guys actually brought this effect out for the first time. So, The programming decided to stop rather than actually stay with the program that you guys added. So, yep, whoopsie doopsie. Alright, so I kind of forgot about something, but I wanted to bring up that there's no water ripple animation in the chamber in front of you. This, again, it's not an animation, it's just legit lights with some type of mechanism causing this effect to do its job. But yeah, I just noticed that when I was looking at some videos. It's like, wait, there's no water ripple anymore. Like, yeah, when you enter through the double doors into the Hall of Promise, yeah, for Fountain of Youth, yeah, you have that water ripple effect, but there's no water ripples anymore. So, like, obviously, I know for the fact, due to the reason why you guys removed this is because now instead of just, just lighting in the chamber this time, it's all based off of, on Mara's face is all projections. So there's no real, there is a little bit of lighting that would shine on the face of the idol, but that's it, just like a little bit of blue and, yeah, just to give it some little color and all that with the projection, but that's really it. But across the walls, there was no ripple animation. Sorry for bringing it up, I just noticed that. So it would be cool to have it back, but rather than on the idol, probably a little bit on the idol, just a little bit, that'd be pretty nice. You could have it across the walls where they usually were at. So, yeah, that's all I wanted to bring up there, so let's get to the other one. Alrighty, so I also wanted to bring up the fact that whenever the vehicles actually enter the chamber, they're going through the scenes a lot more fast than they should be. So pretty much when the vehicle decides to run off into the tunnel of torment without actually allowing the scene to finish. So there should be a delay with the vehicle. The vehicle should go whenever the vehicle's in the chamber, the vehicle should be a little bit more slower. So pretty much the whole scene can be witnessed, and then after Mara has finished saying his dialogue and such, then we could go and turn into the tunnel of torment. Just wanted to bring that up because I'm pretty sure you guys tested it right before, but this pretty much happens with Earthly Riches, primarily with that door, because it doesn't seem to be in sync properly. So yeah. Okay, so I wanted to talk about this part of the attraction when we enter Observatory of the Future, in which this is when the LED stars appear. I forgot how many LED stars were in there, but the reasoning why I'm even bringing this up is because of the brand new laser projectors. The purple laser projectors that gives the chamber a newer look. Well, unfortunately, those laser projectors are also being projected to the ceiling where this effect exists. And greatly, without any doubts, greatly, that's in desperate need of getting some great fixes. Pretty much the laser projectors need to be rearranged to where it doesn't have to appear everywhere, just along the walls only and not to the ceiling. Because, well, you see, that part in the attraction with the LEDs, well, the logo, the tablet of Visions of the Future, I'm not sure how you call it, I'm sorry, I'm pretty stupid. As you can see in this image here, well, that is still being projected there to this day, and it's still animating. However, the purple stars are completely ruining the scene, as you can see, and it doesn't look right because you have super big bright purple projectors mixed in with white LED lights. That needs to be carefully rearranged. And the snakes as well in the chamber that has the purple lighting, it too needs to get some different lighting lighting in there. I'm not even sure what to say about this. I feel like new lighting should be added onto the snakes because the purple lights still appear. We all know that. They still appear. But because the projectors are a lot more brighter, yeah, that's just another thing that kind of goes a little bit on the brightness, a little bit too much on that side. But again, it's just the lasers just need some rearrangements and need to be adjusted properly so the LEDs can be revealed once again properly. You can still see them, but the thing is that the projectors are legit the lasers are aiming inside of this part of the attraction and shouldn't be doing that. So yeah. Sorry to bring this up, but just with like the water reflection in the Hollow Promise of Fountain of Youth, this just needs to be rearranged properly so we can see the stars again. Because trust me, all the original fans of this attraction know about this effect, such as myself. And yeah, I can't really forget about this particular effect because it's pretty cool. That's what made the chamber the chamber. But with the new stars, the whole chamber is still awesome. Just no need to remove them. Just it just needs careful adjusting so we can see everything, such as that. So let's get away from that and continue onwards. Okay, now we're gonna jump into the Tunnel of Torment. I was gonna discuss this doorway before you turn into the Tunnel of Torment, but when I went, surprisingly, all the lighting was working. The light blue for Fountain of Youth, the purple for Observatory of the Future, Unearthly Wretches. It was all working, and I'm pretty happy about that. Pretty surprised to see that. So, yeah, if that ever happens, you know, just don't worry, guys. If a person like myself goes to Disney, okay, or technically me, if I go to Disney, guys, don't worry. I will check the ride for you, and then I complain to you so you guys can do more work. Okay, I'm sorry, that was a bad joke. All right, so continuing away from that, let's go into the Tunnel of Torment. So with this particular part in the attraction, man, for like a long time, a lot of effects in this chamber did not really work well. Not at all. The lightning is a nice touch. I'm glad you guys did that awesome refurbishment in 2012 when you added the realistic electricity running across the walls. Pretty awesome. So pretty much in this chamber we have smoke errors, sound errors, and some lighting errors. It's pretty much like the black lighting of that needs to get fixed. Yes, the black lighting is working, but it's not bright as it used to be. So yeah, that'll get fixed eventually. So I'm not even gonna jump onto that. And yes, it does look awesome when it's all nice and, you know, a little bit dark. Just needs a little bit of a brighten up refurbishment on that. The smoke effects are not working. Again, I understand. Galaxy's Edge. Blah blah blah. You all get it. The smoke in front of the smoke in front of Indiana Jones when he's blocking the gates of doom is not working. But I feel like you guys should have more of a smoke effect that actually lasts a little bit longer, like 30 seconds, and it'll evaporate. I think that'd be a nice little touch to add. Like down the ramp when the vehicle's going up it with all electricity on the sides of the walls or the sides of the vehicles, the side on both sides of the vehicle. You guys should add like some smoke, heavy fog that goes down the ramp, or fill the whole chamber possibly with smoke, or the whole floor of the chamber with like fog. So it'll provide an interesting effect and not really have any loss to how the original story goes, because the vehicle is getting lifted by Mara's curse, and then Indiana Jones is blocking the gates of doom, preventing us from entering, and he breaks the curse and the vehicle drops onto the floor. And that's where I'm gonna also talk about a sound effect, in which you will hear it in a moment, so you guys can hear what it sounds like. It's still there right now. However, the sound is so like, I think it plays way too early rather than it's supposed to, rather than it is meant to. I can't really find any good video. I think there is. It's just that I can hear it, but I'm pretty sure you guys will get like a little bit confused to where it's being heard. Just technically when Indiana Jones is blocking the gates of doom, and when we go up it, and there's a little light that's aiming on Indiana Jones, and when he begins speaking, you're gonna hear that sound as if I think it's the Jeep's tires smacking onto the floor of this chamber. The sound that I'm referring to is a sound effect that plays when the vehicle drops onto the floor after Indiana Jones actually manages to break the curse, at least for a good period of time, so we can escape. But where it's playing now, it plays as soon as the Indiana Jones animatronic begins speaking. So pay close attention, and this is what the sound effect is supposed to sound like. Alrighty, so now I'm going to put the sound to where it is stuck playing out right now with video. And of course, this is where the sound effect was supposed to play at originally. This is an older video of the attraction, like way back, I think 2005 or 2006.
You had to look, didn't you? Oh, we've got a problem here.
So, yeah. So, Yeah, smoke effects need to be fixed in this chamber, because it looks a little bit bizarre, and you can see all the mechanical stuff for the chamber, like vents. Yes, even though they're painted black, you can see them, and yeah, that's my chair. Very squeaky. Anyways, hopefully you guys can add up the smoke effects. And yes, I know for a fact that I know California is going through a drought, so... Is it? No, it is. I just actually haven't seen the signs in the restroom where they say that California is going through a drought, and it's more suggestible to reuse the towels, so I understand. So of course, as we continue here, let's get back into the point. All right, so those are the issues there. But of course, the speaker issues. When Indiana Jones is, talking to the tourists, yelling at them, well, like, why did we have to look? And the powers are, the powers are too powerful for us to comprehend and all that. The speakers are super quiet. It's until you get close enough to one of the speakers that's on the right side in the chamber. It's on the right side of the vehicle. When you do that turn, it's like legitimately right there. It's loud when you actually stop right there, but it's too quiet. The other speakers that provide the audio are broken. What I mean by that is that the audio is flat. It's very flat. It's not crystal clear. It doesn't have that bass that gives more of the deep voice of Indiana Jones and all that. It's just too quiet. Just really, really quiet. So, yeah, let's not increase the volume all the way up to like when this attraction first opened. Like the audio was super, super, super loud. Let's not dwell beyond that. Just fix it to a point to where everyone can actually hear him, and rather than the electricity sound effects dubbing over his voice. And yes, those sound effects are loud enough, so that's perfectly fine. It's just the sound effects, the speakers are too quiet. And not just that, I forgot to mention this, but between the gates of Doom, where Indiana Jones is blocking it, there was a curtain in there, and it's gone when I went. It was not there at all. All I saw was just an empty, like, back room. You guys can, however, add a smoke effect back there, or you can just put the curtain as before. Because I did love the curtain effect. Pretty interesting. You can do that, or you can have like those special lighting lasers to give the door an interesting effect, to make it seem pretty cool. So, like, the spirals or whatever, you can add maybe projector. No, please, no projector. Let's not go with that. But yeah, just fix that effect whenever you guys can actually get to it. Because yes, I know it requires a fan, and also, yeah, it looks pretty bizarre though. Like, it looked really weird without any curtain there. Anyways, away from that, let's get into the big chamber. So, yeah, I know I may be flying fast past these issues, but some of these rooms don't have big issues. So, like, the Tunnel of Torment just has smoke issues, audio issues, and black lighting issues. Or lighting issues, pretty much. So, yes, into the big chamber. So, pretty much within the cavern of bubbling death, most of the lasers aren't working, and some of the lasers kind of aim in the wrong spot. But yeah, that could be easily worked with, so I'm not even going to get into that. But it's not the lasers that I really want to talk about. It's the mini fake explosions with the the puff of smoke or the puff of vapor with the red light. Sometimes those don't work. But the one that when you go down the steps, that one works fine, but the speaker is not working. I know you guys did a refurbishment like in 2014 to where you would fix this, but every time you guys would do like a little mini refurbishment, that speaker every single time would completely turn off. Like, it'll go silent and it'll stop working. So I don't know what's wrong with that speaker. I think it doesn't want to do its job, but whatever's wrong with it, I'm not really sure. But if you guys can fix it, please do fix it. And yeah, again, in this chamber, the black lighting is it's super dim. So, yes, I understand this is supposed to be dark, right? It's not supposed to have like, I understand that the ride is not supposed to have a bunch of beautiful, super colorful stuff. I understand that. Just just fixed a little bit of the brightness. It's a little bit dark. The mummy chamber doesn't have any issues. It's just you know the little fake mini lights that the Jeep does not provide, but it's in the walls in the attraction. I think it happens like 5 times. 5 times. So the problem with the fake Jeep headlights is that yes, there is 5, but the problem is that the one when we actually turn into the mummy chamber, that headlight, or that fake light that like a few times I rode the ride, that light for some reason was aiming the wrong way. Instead of aiming the proper way, it was stuck aiming inside of the little canvas that it's inside of. The other 3, some of them are off, most of them are on, but they're not bright anymore, so that needs to get enhanced. And with the then the fake headlights for the Jeep at the end of the ride, when the apparent headlights shine on the Indiana Jones animatronic right next to the broken boulder. Sometimes that light seems to glitch, but right now it's really dark and it doesn't work as it used to. And of course, I feel like the light should be going a little bit more lower towards the floor, because back when I'm not sure exactly when, I think in the 2014 refurbishment, the headlights seemed as if it was legit coming off of the actual Jeep. But honestly, I feel like the Jeep itself should actually be providing this light rather than a fake headlight, because, well, the Jeep half the time will provide it, and then other times it may not. But it's just a suggestion for that, because sometimes it just doesn't look right. That's the issues with the fake headlights. So there's nothing wrong with the mummy chamber. Everything's fine, except for the speakers. Again, it's all speakers. So take my advice: every speaker you find on the ride, just replace the speaker or just increase the volume. Just because honestly, the speakers just don't want to work on this ride. They don't really love doing their job. So yeah, I understand technology is a tough thing to work with, but man. All right, going into the bug chamber. One of the projectors is not actually magnifying the proper size of the bugs that are supposed to be projected onto the wall. It looks like a tiny little headlight from the Jeep is providing this light, and so that's the only issue there. The projections and everything, however, are working just fine. So that's the only problem there in that chamber, in the bug chamber. So yeah, the bridge, the ropes do not swing anymore. I can't show video on this because it's so hard to show this effect working. It's hard. I can't find a video that shows it because it moves so subtle, and due to the intense motion of the vehicle, it's not intense. Back then it was, but it's not now. But due to the motion of the vehicles and everything, you can't see this effect working. The 2 snake molds above the bridge, there's no smoke coming out of the mouth. The light works, but no smoke. The mini explosion that's on the right of the vehicle, this one, for instance, does not work. It works, it's delayed. Sometimes it works, sometimes it's in sync, sometimes it isn't. There's no smoke, however. And the machine doesn't even puff out the smoke. The light's on, but no smoke at all. So that's having issues. The snake is out of sync in the snake temple. Here's a comparison. Right, here's a comparison with that the snake being out of sync from a video from 2012 and a video in 2016 that I recorded. The video in 2012 was not recorded by me, but another YouTuber. His name will be shown on screen. So let me show you that.
Snakes. You guys are on your own.
Alrighty, so pretty much the issue there is that the snake is hissing very early. This could be easily fixed by delaying the animation so the snake can actually attack the vehicle when it's supposed to. So let's get away from that and talk about the fireball on the left side of the vehicle. Sometimes this effect likes to work whenever it feels like it. But when I went last time in March, it worked. It worked pretty well. It was working just fine. It's supposed to be going off when it was supposed to, so we're pretty much good there. Other times the fireball likes to go off with the other fireball when we usually do the dip and drop underneath the bridge. So, yes, I'm just not even going to jump into that. That's just pretty much the mechanisms just working incorrectly So I don't know what to say about it, but that'll eventually happen whenever it feels like it at the time. But again, like I stated, when I went, it was working just fine. Now, I would like to talk about the lasers again very quick. Well, you see, half the lasers are not working. Half of the other lasers are shooting in the wrong spot when they're not supposed to. And as you guys can see in this image here, this laser, which is the first laser that'll shoot at us when we're dropping down the steps, this laser is aiming at the wall and not at the spot where the mini explosion will go off at. This other laser also is not. I'm not really sure if this is supposed to be some type of some tiny reference to the original, laser effect that's been turned off for a long time. Because we all know that this laser specifically used to aim at the ceiling, to which we all know what the effect was. Moving right along. But yes, I feel like you can aim the laser specifically there, but I'm not going to get too crazy about it. Anyways, inside the Broken Nose of Mara, the statue that shoots the lasers, there's a pit here that has smoke, and unfortunately, there's no smoke coming out of this. And yes, I know that the original effect was actually missed, but what could be a good idea pretty much could be vapor that can actually replace this effect. You don't have to go too crazy about, Honestly, I'm not sure exactly. I see why it's off. There could be a lot of better things to replace this rather than using vapor or mist, but it's an effect that's been sitting there for some time. Also, the water that's been coming out of the teeth of this statue is hardly coming out. And yes, I know obviously that a lot of the effects keep going over and over again every day, so eventually they're going to stop working. But yeah, this is an old water effect that's been going on in this attraction for a good period of time. So there could be more water pumping out. Just some type of thought I came up with. Not really, just the thought. Anyways, away from that, the blue ghost that you see inside of this chamber, the blank lighting that shows or shines upon it, has gotten dimmer. In which a lot of people tend to not see this blue ghost, which is pretty funny. And I think it's supposed to be some type of apparition of Mara of some sort. If I'm not incorrect about that, I might be, but I'm not too sure. But yes, the black lighting is getting starting to get darker and darker. So yes, back to the lasers again. The laser that shoots at the fireball that we would see when we do the dip and drop underneath the bridge, and you can see the fireball ahead of us, the laser is not shooting in that spot anymore. Now, with the mini explosion on the left of the vehicle, which I am going to get to in just a few moments, showing you the delay of it, I'm just bringing this up, that the laser that specifically shoots where that mini explosion is, the laser is actually out of sync now, because again, the mini explosion is out of sync, and the laser is out of sync, and the laser's not really shooting in the right spot. Rather than on the where the area of the explosion is at, it's shooting on the floor. So, the mini explosion that you would see on the left of the vehicle when you're trying to escape, and the idol makes one final attempt to get rid of you, fails and misses. That mini explosion is out of sync, but probably by a second or two, by 2 seconds or 1 second. This issue has been bothering me since 2014. Somewhere in 2014, that's when the explosion was out of sync. Whenever you guys did that refurbishment back in 2014, when you guys did the refurbishment, the mini explosion would instead of explode in front of the vehicle, it would explode instead behind the vehicle, which was weird. If you're in the third row, the explosion would puff against you. Well, not really, because due to the air current of the vehicle as it's passing by, it pushes the smoke back. But it was pretty weird. Pretty weird day riding the ride, and yeah, it was full of glitches, and it was a big mess. This is another video, and this is a video showing the actual proof of this, and as you see the vehicles entering the boulder chamber, and the scene is legitimately actually playing at exactly the same time as the vehicle is entering, which is it is not meant to be doing. But again, the ride was having just a lot of malfunctions and glitches with the system. So it's fixed finally. The ride's working the way it's supposed to, and I'm pretty happy about that, because it was pretty bizarre to see the ride actually take things to a very insane level with glitches and such. So here are two comparisons of the mini explosion that is out of sync and then the mini explosion that is in sync back in 2013. Okay, so let's get into the dark chamber. Nothing wrong there, but the lighting that's on the fake vines that you see on the right of the vehicle when the vehicle starts to move a little bit more forward, there's a purple light that shines on these vines, which, yeah, has a little spiral going on, but the lighting is extremely dark than usual, a lot more darker than usual. And yeah, I know for a fact it's supposed to be dark because the chamber you're supposed to be in is supposed to be eerie, but back when you guys did the refurbishment back in 2012, the purple lighting was nice and bright, but it still made the chamber look eerie, and it was pretty cool to see that. Actually, I loved it. The rats, my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, the rats are really taking, well, the work a little bit too seriously, because instead of being projected correctly, I think I believe, if possible, I think the projector is breaking for some reason. I have no idea what's going on. Like, half of the footage is legit missing. There's just black lines going across this animation. Does not look good. Even the size of the projection got even smaller. So yeah, that is in good need. And I feel like the animation should be switched up to an older animation to it was just a bunch of rats falling onto the tracks. Pretty much to explain more of that is that first one rat falls, and then other rats follow this rat, and then pretty much you have a bunch of rats falling on the floor. Apparently now the animation of the rats is delayed, so that's why there's only one rat seen jumping off the branch. So pretty much the animation should be, kind of fixed, I guess. It works. I'm just saying that the animation should show up the large amount of rats jumping off the branch. So originally, when the ride was being tested, now I don't know if this is true, but it was extremely interesting to me, no doubt. Apparently, a spider web was used for this projection effect. Now, I think that'd be a cool thing to actually have in the attraction. But honestly, the rats is a pretty interesting thing to have. But hey, wouldn't it be cool if the rat animation and the spider web animation would change? They'll take turns. So pretty much when we hit rats or spider webs, that'd be pretty cool. But honestly, I don't know. It's up to you guys. Obviously, you are the ones who work on the ride and such. But yeah, I just wanted to bring this up because I find it really interesting that a spider web was used, and it would be cool if the spider web effect was brought back. Now I don't know if this is true, but I found it really interesting. Okay, let's move on. Oh wait, I forgot to mention something. In the dark chamber, the two skeleton warriors that are guarding this door that has this glowing effect, which is not actually orange lighting or anything. It's just interesting black lighting that with the orange paint that glows with the black lighting. It doesn't seem to be flickering as much as I remembered when you guys did the refurbishment in 2012, when you guys reopened it with the new painting and everything. I love the new painting, but that little doorway is no longer blinking as much, and I feel like they should kind of get fixed. But anyways, let us continue back onto the point here and get to the boulder chamber. Yeah, with the boulder chamber, there's a lot of lighting issues, but I want to discuss the Indiana Jones animatronic. And for those who are questioning on who in the world even decided to bring up the idea to fix the rope that was underneath Indiana Jones, as you can see in this image here, I was the person who wanted the rope to be fixed because I think somewhere in 2014, I noticed the rope was removed, and I'm not exactly sure why. I'm not really sure. But yeah, it looked really weird because it looked as if he was just like I don't even have any words to legitimately explain what I thought when I actually saw that for the first time. But I am pretty happy that you guys managed to fix the rope, and now it doesn't look weird. But of course, people wouldn't really pay attention to such tiny details like myself. The rope legit looks exactly the same to the original rope that was featured in the attraction back from 1995 to 2002, if I'm not mistaken, which looks amazing. So I'm glad you guys fixed it. But of course, the real problem here, away from the lighting, because we'll get to that in just a moment, is the actual legs of the animatronic. The head of the animatronic moves just fine when I rode the attraction. However, the legs of the animatronic are moving extremely slowly. They're not moving as strong as they did as his legs moved way back then. It was like strong, and the rope would flop around and all and such, but it just doesn't look it just looks weird now. It kind of reminds me of way back from, I think, 2006 and 2006 and then 2008, when the animatronic's legs was hardly moving. And like in 2008, that's when the animatronic really suffered something pretty weird, in which the whole animatronic stopped working and it was just stuck. Yes, the animatronic would turn, but other than that, the legs hardly moved as well. So yeah. One more little thing I wanted to bring up was the shoes of the animatronic. Now, yeah, these are obviously modern shoes, but not the original shoes that the animatronic had like way back then. It was legit the shoes that the actor, I believe. I haven't really paid that much attention to the actual shoes, obviously, but in a lot of old photos, I think from like 1995 to 2000, I believe 2011, if I'm not mistaken, 2011 or 2010, pretty much somewhere in 2011, the shoes were changed into more of those heavywear working shoes instead. I do like how they look, actually, because they're legit brown boots, but I don't know, honestly. They're not an issue, really, but it would be cool if the original shoes were brought back to the animatronic. So, yep, just wanted to bring that up. So I wanted to talk about the lighting on the boulder. A lot of the lighting has really darkened over time, and a lot of some other lights as well in the chamber are completely turned off or completely removed. So the lighting that shines on the boulder, and yes, I know obviously that the lighting has changed over time, but I don't want to get in a super long discussion about it. Let's just get to the point here. So the lighting on the boulder, the white light, that yes has changed 3 times in total. The white light that shines on the boulder, it's a little bit more dim than usual. And yes, there's a little blue light there as well when the boulder is first revealed. So there's totally 6 lights total that shine on the boulder when it gets closer. So those 2 lights are, I guess, okay, but the blue lighting that shines on the boulder, it's just very dark, and it's not as bright as it was before. The other 2 lights, when the boulder starts coming in closer, the purple light and the other white light. The purple lights, it's all the lighting practically is dimmer than usual. And of course, as you can see in this recording that I did not at all long ago, just pretty much this year, just on the 27th or the 28th of May. 28th of May. The whole chamber was blacker than usual because a lot of the lighting again is gone. So those 2 lights probably should be brightened up just a little bit more. And then the other 2 lights, which one of them is come to this point? Because when the boulder would usually come into the near end, when we are about to make our move to go underneath it, because the floor is collapsing underneath us. The blue light that we usually show or shine on the boulder is completely gone. I think it got turned off somewhere in 2014 or 2014 or 2015. I think 2014. I kind of forgot. And yeah, on some weird instances, the blue light would actually turn on. So there may be a possibility that blue light is still there. but I don't know. So there's actually another light that shines on the boulder. It's actually a white light. So as you guys can see in this picture, this is the light that shines on the boulder, in which it actually shines before the blue light. As you guys can see in this image here, you could clearly see the white light on the boulder. This is pretty much when the scene isn't actually going in the chamber. Unfortunately, the boulder here is actually stuck at the drop point, which is an issue that tends to happen here and there. Like even though like way back then the attraction also had issues to where the boulder would get stuck. Sometimes the tunnel wouldn't move either. So the issue of the tunnel and the boulder having their own issues it's nothing really fairly new. But however, when it's pretty much this scene is actually in stall mode, while sometimes when we're waiting for another vehicle that's down below us to move, because the other vehicles are not moving and giving space for them to move, pretty much you'll see the chamber in its the stall mode. You can actually see the blue light as well. That was removed. I believe it's still in the ride, but I'm not really sure if it is or isn't. It probably is, but I'm not super positive. Yes, the lights also have a texture, which you can actually see on the boulder. You can see some weird black crack lines or black line texturing on the light to give the boulder some other interesting lighting. You can see it a lot more better in person rather than through some videos. In some videos you can actually see it in better quality, and you can see it here. But this white light, whenever the scene is actually about to go, what happens is that the light actually starts to get dimmer and dimmer, and then it gets to a point where it's very, very dark. Except for the matter of the fact is that when I rode the attraction, not that long ago, yeah, that light was completely off. A lot of the lighting is gone, except for the purple lighting and the other white light that shines when the boulder starts coming in closer. So you have the purple light, and then you have a little small white light, and then when the boulder gets closer, that's when you would see the white light, the one that we see in this image here. Except the brightness on the light should be increased, or just left on the brightness that it's at, so we can actually see the light as the boulder's coming in closer. Yeah, not super bright, should be a little bit dim, but I'm not sure what you guys do in the next refurbishment, but, well, I will hopefully see about that later in the future. But yes, let us continue. The lighting as well in the chamber that would usually shine across the walls to give the scenario more of an eerie look and such is, well, unfortunately, off. So the room, again, like I've stated, is very, very dark. So yes, I also wanted to bring up the vines in the chamber. Old remnants of the fake vines that have been there since 1995 are actually still in the chamber, but unfortunately they have well, they've dried up so much that they pretty much, I believe, shrunk or something, and at this point they're there, but there's like a little batch of the top to where they were, put at originally. So yeah, the chamber is just in really desperate need of getting some newer vines. And I forgot to mention with the other lighting, like when the vehicle backs up. Okay, so when the vehicle backs up, there would be some lighting on the left and right of you because of the orange lights that would shine, just to give off some other interesting lighting effects in the chamber. But yeah, again, off. So the chamber is kind of black, and because there's not much that you can see, so it's kind of hard to see the boulder, but it's still there in front of you and such. But let's continue back on to the vines a little bit. So with the vines being shrunken in size and such, there are still certain portions to where there are still vines hanging in the ride, and because of course they've been sitting there for a long time, but they dried in that position, so they don't have to move. Unlike the boulder chamber, yeah, pretty much a lot of stuff moved. There's no smoke underneath the boulder anymore. I feel like the smoke should be replaced with smoke that's a lot more stronger, that will actually last longer. Okay, so this is where this little thing jumps about. So if you're in the front row and you actually stretch yourself up as the scene is going, You can actually see the two mechanisms, the two machines that you can see where the arrows are pointing at. These two machines right here. They provide the smoke. But the issue is it evaporates too quick. Now, yes, the smoke that lingers longer is probably not a good idea, because other guests who probably will enter the chamber will see smoke and may think of something other than, you know. But they're on a ride, so they probably may know smoke just for the scene. But the point is, yeah, as you can see in these pictures, it just doesn't look right when there's no smoke. And yeah, sometimes the smoke somewhat lingers, but that's just like the last amount that came out and pretty much somewhat lingered there, and then of course evaporates. So, and yes, I know way back then as well, the smoke also didn't appear half the time. But yeah, this effect should be practically fixed, and probably the timing on it should puff out when we are actually about to go underneath the boulder, rather than as the scene is going on. So then the smoke can actually linger longer and then provide an interesting effect. So, continuing. What's the problem here? I'm sorry for smacking my lips. I'm actually not smacking my lips. It's just trying to think here. Sorry about that. Okay, so sometimes when the tunnel does not actually move, because sometimes this is an error on itself. Because before, yeah, sometimes, like way back then, the tunnel didn't move because, again, it was an error, so the tunnel stopped moving. Like the lighting in the chamber would work, but other times, not really. But the lighting, yes, but just the tunnel primarily. But because now, in the generation now, the problem is that the room doesn't have proper timing to reset. So this is what causes the scene to not work, and because of the tunnel not having proper time to reset correctly, this is where an issue will fully, occur, and the vehicles start entering the chamber without it resetting properly. And if you enter the chamber and the chamber is literally dark than the usual, time when you enter the chamber, and there's actually lighting that's a little bit more brighter, then the second option shows you that the scene is going to work. You may not know if the tunnel will work or not, but the room is super dark. Then guess what? You're going to only have the music from your Jeeps and the sound effects of the Jeeps, and then the animatronic saying his dialogue, but no effect of the boulder or anything. Everything is still in stall mode until a vehicle properly enters the chamber. So there should, and yes, I'm going to jump to the Jeeps a little bit later because I'm just trying to explain this out. The sound effects of the boulder need to be increased as well. The rumbling, even when the boulder crashes to the right of us in another chamber, where we see Indiana Jones standing next to the boulder, that the volume on that needs to be increased a little bit more louder. And yes, I don't want people's ears hurting or anything, but yeah, that's what is in need of getting some fixes. But yeah, getting back away from that, those are pretty much the issues with the boulder chamber and the lighting of the chamber. And yeah, let's get right ahead and go right to the speaker issues of the boulder chamber. So this speaker, that's, as you can see in this image here, while the Indiana Jones ride was having some weird glitches in 2014, but the speaker you can see here is connected to the chamber foundation to the top, giving the illusion as if it's the Indiana Jones animatronic, causing this echo to actually go through the chamber to that specific spot. But of course, that's not really the case. Of course, the real problem here is the animatronic that has the speaker above it here, as you can see from this image done by Dave Land from 1995. So the speaker is not providing any sound. It's it's not extremely quiet. It's off. It's entirely off. The sound effects of the boulder are pretty quiet. The rumble effect is not as loud as it used to be. It should be a lot more louder if you guys can actually do that. Even the sound effect of the boulder crashing into the floor after we escaped, the sound of that was pretty nice. It was back to being surround sound, unlike before I was stuck on one side, but nice fix. But the sound of that should be entirely fixed if you guys can actually do that and increase it just a little bit more louder if possible. Of course, away from that, let's get to the other issues. Almost forgot to mention this, but the sound when we go underneath the boulder, like that rolling sound effect, the volume of that needs to be increased a little bit louder. It's pretty quiet, but should be fixed to a good level that it's loud enough, but a good loud if you guys can fix it. But yeah, let's get to the actual other issues. Sorry about that. Of course, the animatronic at the end of the attraction that is standing right next to the broken boulder, his mouth is not moving. His head is stuck aiming towards one way until because he's not following the Jeep like he would usually do, you know, as if it's legit Indiana Jones standing right in front of us. Even when the vehicle stops, his head keeps moving to the right, but then he gets into his position to where he's wiping his head with his hand, or he just sometimes looks at his wrist or looks at the whip and probably looks around and looks at us while we're, you know, stalled. But his head was stuck. He did shake his head with, you know, a little bit of disappointment and such, but away from, like, his head moves and all that, but it was stuck aiming towards the left, not even following the vehicle. So it was pretty weird to see that. So yeah, it didn't look right. I don't think this was what I saw, but I for some reason saw the Indiana Jones animatronics hat on backwards, which was extremely weird. I've never seen it before, but I'm not too sure. Unfortunately, my camera is not super high definition, so, well, it is HD, but it doesn't show everything crystal clear. So unfortunately, I was not able to actually jump into the future. Unfortunately, I was not able to actually get any good footage of this. But away from that, there's one thing that I would love the animatronic to say again. Here, give yourself a listen to this rare audio that used to play from 1996. No, sorry. That used to play from 1985 to 1986, pretty much onwards until 2002, and then a lot of this audio was removed. And of course, we're going to get into Jeeps in just a moment, so you guys just wait a few moments. But of course, here's that audio I'm referring to.
You were good in there. You were very, very good.
So I kind of forgot to mention something. So the smoke right next to the Indiana Jones animatronic, or of course with the broken boulder, there's not enough smoke. There should be a lot more smoke, you know, just to give off that sensation. Or there should be a little bit more smoke coming from the crack on the boulder, because at some point there used to be smoke coming from there, but there's no more smoke. But yeah, the smoke should be enhanced a little bit. Even the lighting that is there as well with the animatronic should be enhanced as well. So the lava pit in the cavern of bubbling death, or the cavern of bubbling death, I'm sorry about my squeaky chair again, it's old. I wanted to state a few things on this. The smoke should be enhanced to a point where it resembles this. This is a video that I managed to find, thank goodness, from 1996, and man, it looks pretty interesting. It seems as if there's beams coming out of the lava pit. That right there looks pretty cool. But yeah, I feel like the lava as well should get enhanced and kind of upgraded and such. Of course, the smoke, because yes, obviously the smoke is eventually going to get shut off, and then the smoke is going to stop coming out as it, you know, it should usually do. But I wanted to also, away from the smoke and such, I want to jump back to the torment for a second. If you guys can't actually replace replace the smoke machines with the smoke that's better, the better idea is just to have smoke in front of the gates of doom, where Indiana Jones is blocking the gates of doom, in which, of course, yes, pretty much there's been smoke coming out of there. Not out of the out of the main door, but I mean specifically in the general area with all of the debris of the bricks and such. But at the when we actually enter the tunnel torment for the first time, I was thinking you could probably add some interesting ideas. I was thinking that you guys could actually add some interesting lighting, possibly on the floor, or maybe, just maybe, relocate the black lights somewhere so the floor will not reveal all the vents and everything. Because I know the point is you're supposed to be looking forward and not really paying attention to that, but hey, you know, most people, like myself, not really, but I'm not sure if you'll be able to actually really do that. It was just a thought. But it will be a lot more simpler, so you guys don't have to deal with actually having smoke being in that spot. Alrighty, my friends, let us continue and actually discuss the incorrect Jeep scores. If you're questioning what that is, I'll get into it in just a moment. But a lot of cast members who work on this attraction believe that this is an original score in the Jeeps, but however, it is not. I've been running this attraction for a long time, and pretty much in 2012, this weird incorrect score actually played at least a rare amount of times. But in 2012, all the original scoring came back. But all of a sudden, after that brand new refurbishment in 2012, all of a sudden, the incorrect score decided to play permanently in the vehicles. If the vehicles actually stalled at the station a little bit more longer than usual, then the original score would play. But this technique no longer works in the attraction, so the incorrect score plays permanently. Yes. This incorrect score is not the original score, for your information. You're going to be jumping into comparisons in just a few moments. Pretty much, what the incorrect score is that a lot of the musical scoring in the Jeeps plays way early than it's supposed to, so a lot of scenes in the attraction are apparently out of sync. But for your information, the Jeep is always in sync with the attraction. The motion that you feel on the ride is original, but the sound effects, such as the Jeep's engine, as well as the speakers aboard the vehicle, just are not the original sounds that were created for the attraction. So, pretty much, that is the most ridiculous issue that I've encountered over the past years I've been riding this attraction. So, it's been 8 years. The attraction's been stuck with this incorrect score for 8 years. That is surprisingly weird. But yes. Now, let's just talk about the timing of the vehicles very quick. Now, a lot of cast members don't believe me when I say that the vehicles are going through scenes fast. I'm not referring to the speed for your information. I'm actually talking about the Jeeps actually skipping scenes, meaning that they don't even stay in the sequence for any longer than the usual pace. They actually run through the scene a lot more faster, not even allowing the vehicle ahead of us to properly go through its sequences correctly. Now, yes, back then, this was fine. Even though if the vehicle was going through the scenes fast, everything was still fine because everything was perfectly paced. Or everything was perfectly at pace. But unfortunately, this is not the way to go. So, now, because of the brand new issues, and rather than letting the rooms reset, especially the boulder chamber, this is an issue that needs to be corrected. The vehicles should have more of a stall time before they enter a scene. Pretty much the boulder chamber, I should say. Or it should separate itself a lot more further than the vehicle ahead of itself. Pretty much the delay of the vehicle should be around 7 seconds. So when we're about to go, the vehicle in front of us has enough space from us, so we, after going through all the craziness to the near end of the experience, before we turn into the boulder chamber, we are separated enough from the vehicle so we can enter scenes as we are meant to. So yes, the boulder chamber is pretty much the only part of the attraction that has the biggest issues, because it doesn't properly reset half the time because vehicles like to enter the chamber when this is not properly working. So we all know about that. So now let's go ahead and go into the Spiels of Sallah. Okay, so the first audio recording that you're going to listen to is an induction recording that I did not too long ago of the Spiels of Sallah. Pretty much when we're about to journey into the Chamber of Destiny, to where we see the 3 doors. This is with the incorrect score. You're going to hear no static cutoff after Sallah has finished speaking. You hear Sallah, or the voice actor for Sallah, say something weird after he finishes speaking his dialogue. Then you're going to go to the original source audio. That pretty much, again, is the original source audio. So let us continue there.
Adjustment. Easy on the curves. Hello. Oh, my friends. The brakes may be needing a little adjustment. Easy on the curves.
Okay, without wasting too much time, Here are other spiels that Sallah says, but they haven't been playing correctly in the attraction for some period of time. Pretty much the other ones are extremely rare and they no longer play due to some issues that were encountered way back when the attraction first opened. Pretty much from the vehicles at the station. Pretty much Sallah says that whatever vehicle is ahead of us is going through that door. Which path would we be taking? And of course, here are some other spiels that are missing that I put all together. Then we're going to be getting to some comparisons, but I'm going to be explaining what's going on.
Go easy, easy, easy! The wheels may be needing a little work. Attention, attention please! Sallah speaking. Please check your seat straps, making sure always they are securely fastened. Hello, hello, are you now coming in? Please, make sure your seat straps are securely fastened. The accelerating device occasionally will be sticking, but do not be concerned. The brakes are very good.
If the future opens to receive the travelers ahead, which path would you be taking? Hello? Please check the steering wheel, making sure it is not stiff. That would be very bad.
Careful. Watch out for anything that slithers.
Welcome back. You entered the observatory of the future? In that case, I don't even have to tell you that we would like you to stay seated until your transport comes to a complete stop.
So, as you guys heard, primarily on the final audio spiel from Sallah, pretty much after we entered the Observatory of the Future and survived, that audio track played in 2014, but for some reason it stopped playing, so I'm not really sure. The vehicles are being pretty weird, that's definitely for sure. Of course, now we're going to be getting into the comparisons. Now, this is where I have to jump into the incorrect scores. I've already discussed them, so here's a comparison on the two differences between how the score plays. It's supposed to be playing, including the Jeep audio sounding different. So here, give yourselves a listen. So, as you guys just heard, the score played at an extremely delayed rate. But to tell the truth, it's not the vehicles doing this. What it is actually is the music. What's going on is that the music is playing extremely early when we turn, well, pretty much when the vehicle does the drop before we start going up the ramp, and we can see Indiana Jones blocking the gates of doom. Because when we are going up the left, towards the left, up the ramp, that's, yeah. So pretty much when the vehicle drops, for that sudden drop and the vehicle starts going to the left, that's when the music begins playing early. So again, it's everything based off the music and sound effects of the Jeeps. The Jeeps are always in motion and properly in sync. So let's get to the original score. Alrighty, so I'm almost done with the video, so woo! Time to celebrate. Of course. So, I wanted to bring a few more things up. So pretty much as you guys saw with the 4 comparisons there for this final part, you saw the original score and then the incorrect score. Of course, if you guys do the refurbishment, the original score should be brought back into the vehicles, because with the newer scores, like I think I've already stated, but I've been trying to work on this video for a couple of weeks, probably at least a month or so. The thing is that the original score is a lot more better because pretty much it is in sync with everything in the ride. Even when the vehicle stalls, the extended track takes place, and yeah, there's a lot more sounds, and of course the Jeeps have the Jeep's original sound is a little bit more different. So of course, let me actually talk about that very quick before I actually stop before I end the video. So pretty much what the original sound of the Jeep was is that, like, the best example is in the bug chamber. So in the incorrect score, when the vehicle has gone through the bug chamber, when we get to the bridge, right? When the vehicle's about to, race across the bridge or slowly go across the bridge, but pretty much race across the bridge, you still hear the bugs getting crushed, yet there's no bugs on the floor at this point. Or there could be, I don't know, but that's not even part of the ride. There could be bugs, there, but I know for a fact that the bugs wouldn't even be in front of the broken nose or mark, because I know for a fact they'd be getting shot at. But of course, but when we get to the entrance of the Snake Temple, right? When the vehicle, bounces up because I think it's going over something. The engine of the vehicle is the engine is being run at a pretty loud for a little extended period of time, and then when the vehicle is going through the Snake Temple, the original sound effects are not playing correctly, obviously. So, you have the stalling engine sound effect playing instead. And then skipping that, getting to the part where we hit the rats. After we hit the rats, right, you hear the tires screech, yes, but when you turn the corner, you don't hear the tires screech. It's silent because the stalling vehicle sound is playing. And then when the vehicle actually stops at the entrance of the dark chamber, then that's where you hear the tire screech. And in the boulder chamber, when the vehicle stops, that's all normal. But when the vehicle's backing up, the reversing sound effect seems to repeat. Not really, actually. It's not repeating. It's just the sound seems to, the vehicle reversing seems to keep going. Yet the tunnel stopped and the vehicle's supposed to stop. So, Yeah, and even when the vehicle turns to see Indiana Jones right next to the broken boulder, the sound of the vehicle stopping on the ground, or the scraping sound against the dirt, it's delayed. So yeah. Also, there needs to be some brand new merchandise brought in back based off this ride, because listen, guys, a lot of the old merchandise was fantastic. So you should bring permanent amazing merchandise of this ride, like probably like a Indiana Jones statue figure standing next to the broken boulder or something, because you have statues of certain sequences from the rides, like the hitchhiking ghosts from the haunted mansion, or the scene where we have the pirates in their cells trying to get the dog's attention with the bone so they could get the key. You have that as a statue. There's a lot of stuff, but you guys can also make merchandise from Indiana Jones. I know it hasn't been there for like a long period of time, but it would be cool to have some good merchandise be brought in for this attraction, because trust me, this ride has a lot of good scenarios that could be created for something like this. There should be some newer shirts, probably the new idol, the new projection and all that. You should also be able to, because I know this should be for like some other type of leadership team rather than the Imagineering team. Probably should have stated that first thing, but of course, pretty much there should be brand new figures as well. That should be like some pro elite action figures of Indiana Jones, because some of the action figures, because yes, I understand that some of this merchandise is for young kids. However, honestly, there should be some pro figures brought in. And it should be like a new collectible store or something should be created for this type of merchandise, so the hardcore Disney fans could get that type of stuff and all. And yeah, honestly, thinking about it, yeah, that'd be cool to have some newer merchandise brought back in, because yeah, there's really no shirts based off the ride now. It has Indiana Jones, but it's not specifically based off the ride with Indiana Jones, so yeah. Oh yeah, also, it would be cool if you guys can also make an RC vehicle of the Jeeps, because hey, if Dinosaur made an RC vehicle of their vehicle, then you guys, I know for a fact you guys can also create the Jeeps, because that'd be cool. And yes, they could all be based off the different color vehicles, because in Dinosaur it's the same vehicle every time. But with Indiana Jones, the vehicles are have different colors with each vehicle. So yeah. Also, one more thing before I end this video, of course, can you guys kindly fix the black lighting on the asteroid in Space Mountain, because that's been off for a long time. And yes, I can clearly see the shape, the outline shape of the asteroid when we turn the corner, and you can actually see the projection against the wall of the building. So yeah, it's still there. So yeah, a lot of people have never known about this thing. Only a few people do, but not many people. So yeah, so alright, so that's pretty much it. I've kind of repeated myself a little bit too much, saying so many times, but of course, I hope you guys are able to fix all these issues, because I'll be extremely excited to see all the amazing things you have fixed on this attraction, because I'm extremely eager to see that after, you guys have fully finished and opened Galaxy's Edge, and then, go into refurbishing the attractions and such, because I'm extremely excited to see that. So yeah, I'm pretty pumped up for that. So yeah, I'm gonna get on my transport Jeep, and I'm gonna venture off and try to explore some other things. Of course, oh yeah, I am gonna actually talk about Space Mountain Ghost Galaxy, because it is actually having musical issues. So yes, Space Mountain Ghost Galaxy. Yes. Of course, that's it. Be safe in there, guys. Do not get hurt, because we all worry about your safety. So please be careful in there. I know you guys know it, but be safe in there. And just, have fun, Because we all know that you guys have fun making these attractions and trying to create the extremely amazing and fantastic things in the attraction. But yes, be safe. Good luck, and I'm going to go off and adventure on my transport Jeep. Let me just try to start it up. Alright, there we go. See you guys later.